additional 18 points.
All right.
That was not. That was
All right.
Continuing at a reduced rate.
All right. Let's see. We got to get.
Among like households for affirmative action.
Hold on just a second.
Affirmative action, it was 29%. This is not the same as the 40% decline that occurred before there was any civil rights laws and before there was any social welfare.
Race and discrimination. You suggest.
This is my man Thomas Sowell, by the way, because he kicks ass and takes names. That's all there is to it.
Distinguish the two, race and discrimination.
Hold on just a second.
Inside people's heads. Discrimination is an overt act taking place outside in the real world.
Okay.
So not only with black people, you find the same thing with Jews in previous centuries. That part of the United States where there was the most racism against blacks, namely the South, right, is where black construction workers.
All right, there we go. So if you're not following Thomas Sowell, well, you're wrong. That's all there is to it. Thomas Sowell is the man without peer, that's for sure. Woohoo! And as such, if you're not watching or following anything that Thomas Sowell does, you got a problem, my friend. He's 92 years old, 92, so he's not going to be around long. And so we've last year we lost Walter Williams. This year we've lost Rush Limbaugh, and it's only a matter of time for Thomas Sowell goes to his greater reward too. So you don't get much more time to see Thomas Sowell live, that's for sure. So make sure you're watching old Tom Sowell because that guy is awesome. All right, so I want to start with you with some fun stuff here because this people have lost their damn minds. We'll start. Appreciate y'all being here, by the way. Thanks, Harry. Que paso? While we're waiting on more people to come in, let me. My man, I think it's a guy named Scott sent this to me. This is. I don't even know what to do. This is freaking insane. All right, so let's share my screen. And we're gonna. This is in Wenatchee, Washington. Wenatchee, Washington. All right. I had a guy there who actually introduced me to Wenatchee, and he was a nice guy. I liked him. He's not happy at all with me with my anti-vax and anti-mask stuff, and as such, I don't think he's on this channel anymore. So this, I kind of chuckle because here's Wenatchee. The guy was not happy. He emailed me saying I sound like an idiot. I sound like a freaking flat earther. Whatever, man. I don't care. It's not. So anyway, the point was this guy's from Wenatchee. So this my man Scott has sent me this today. The Wenatchee World from just from the other day, February 24th, and I just chuckle because this is where this guy's from. Who is saying, mask, a mask, everybody wear a mask, 4 masks, 5 masks, you can never have enough masks. And so back at school, pandemic continues, but life goes on at Wenatchee and Eastmont Highs. This is, as students have returned to high school, they have to adapt to changes to continue their activities. Wenatchee High School and the rest of the band practice in small COVID-19 enclosures around the school's auditorium on Tuesday. Half of the band practices at a time. This is, I don't cuss much. I'm not going to hear it, but I feel like just screaming bloody murder. This is effing insane. It gets worse. Check this out. Look at this kid. I mean, you can't see them smiling beneath the mask, but students are glad to be back in school, even if it's only part-time. So I saw this. I said, no wonder, man. The guy who sent me that crazy, nasty emails is from Wenatchee. He probably thinks this is acceptable. This isn't acceptable. This is freaking insane. I just have to think that the evildoers are sitting there saying, I can't believe people are doing this. It's the only thing I can possibly think. They're up there laughing and say, what can we do next? We got Fauci. A guy posted on LinkedIn the other day that Fauci is going to give the commencement address at Emory University. And all these people like fawning, oh, this is great, Fauci, oh. I said the best thing that ever happened to Fauci was this right here. Like, the best thing that ever happened to this guy. Do you think he wants it to go away? You think Fauci wants to go back to normal with just a run-of-the-mill bureaucrat? Crazy. It just is nuts. Look at this. This is insane. It doesn't stop there. Let me show you this, what I just, the idea that you think this is acceptable is insane. Not you, but anyone. All right, so I want to show you this video here real quick. So this is outside a city. All right, let me just play it for you. Oh, one second. Let me unshare this screen. This is, what the hell has happened? I literally sit there, I think, they literally are up there, you know, whoever the bad guys are up there saying, you know, you guys are idiots to follow this. All right, let me see if I can't find this video real quick. This is funny. Hold on, this is actually it's funny but scary because you're just like, what has happened? What has happened? So, man, all right, hold on a second. Let me find this. Hold on a second. This is funny. All right, so we're gonna all right. All right, so I'm gonna show it to you. This is all right, watch this. I can't take it. All right. All right. That's a lint roller. That's a lint roller. A guy stands with a lint roller, and people. It's just a random dude. He's just got a mask. He goes like this. Put your arms out, and he rolls there with the lint. And somehow we're the crazy ones. Oh my goodness! All right, that's. All right. Also, I want to share with you you got a sweet smoking deal on Amazon. I'm going to put the link here, and let me share that. And we'll get started on Right Capital here in just a second. But just while I got some maintenance to take care of, this is huge right here. The Mittlinder or Mittlider gardening method, the Garden Doctor. For the next 7 days, this is available for only $20. Man, you're insane if you don't buy it. I got this. It's downstairs in the basement. The definitive work on vegetable nutrition. Nothing else we've ever seen comes close. Illustrates plant deficiency symptoms using more than 800 color photographs, including 3 volumes of detailed descriptions that teach what each nutrient does for plants and how to recognize the first and predominant symptom of deficiency. Suggests appropriate corrective dosage for your particular garden space, different methods of application, and the best time for treatment. Created from 50 years of field experience throughout the world and used in colleges, on large farms, small backyards. You got to get this. Now, before you say, is it organic? No, because I believe in synthetic fertilizers. Absolutely. With 100%. It's insane not to use that. Now, look, should you just throw nitrogen? No, we don't want that. To throw some synthetic fertilizers that are literally from the earth, fine with me. And so this, if you're organic, this you can't buy this because it doesn't flow through the stupid USDA organic registration. Who gives a rat's butt, man? Frankly, I find the whole organic thing just one big scam, to be perfectly honest with you. Everybody knows it. Anyway, so this right here, mass paperback, $20. It's freaking fantastic. You better, if you're interested in gardening or you think you're interested in gardening, get this now. I think I paid $150 for it, 85. I can't remember. I think I paid a lot more than $20. I might have to buy a couple just to give to people because it's this is phenomenal. So if you click on mass paperback, just make sure you click on that and do it through my link so I can get that sweet Amazon money from the Jeff Bezos as he flies around the world in his private jets, worried about climate change. I guess it's not, whatever. It's not open for me right now. But anyway, click on that. If you're interested in gardening and growing your own food, which of course you should be, you need to get that for sure. And I'll put the link in the show notes right there. That's the link. That's my evil capitalist link where I can get paid. I can get paid, man. 4% on $20. 80 cents. Yeah. So anyway, go ahead and do that. But I tell you, right on. Steve says he's not a veggies fan. I got like 6 veggies. I use rest I can't get into unless it's, that's right, man. You don't have to use them, but you could use them for barter. You could use them for trade. You could use them for all kinds of things. That's the end of the day, man. No, it's not. It's in color. The mass market pay. Well, Actually, I shouldn't say that. I think it's a color. And mine's a color. So, I mean, I think it's a color, Dan. I think it's just only for 7 days. It's only for 7 days. The reason was the guy who's it's foodforeveryone.com. Drawing a blank, the dude's name, who I can't remember his name, I forgot. Anyway, the guy who runs foodforeveryone.com, I just can't remember his name. He says he wants to get a quick burst of activity on Amazon, because what happens is once you get the quick burst of activity on Amazon and people give ratings and whatnot, it makes Amazon more likely to promote it, if that makes sense. So that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get a big burst of activity there. So that's why it's only for 7 days. I'm trying to blank the guy's name, but anyway, so you definitely want to get that. And then after that, it won't be there for $7 anymore. All right, so let's. I want to start getting to some right capital. Do I have anything? Oh no, I got a couple other things real quick. A lot of people are asking about inflation. Yeah, I frankly don't give a rat's behind if you get the vax or not, Steve. I don't care. I mean, that's your decision. My body, my choice. Whatever happened to that, my body, my choice. I don't trust these guys as far as I could kick them, but I got no qualm with that. I frankly chuckle. A lot of libertarians I follow are very anti-government for anything, including the military, except when it comes to the FDA approval of the vax. All of a sudden, if it has the word vaccine, literally, and I say this all the time jokingly, I could literally put some of Finney's poop in a jar, label it vaccine, and the libertarians say, oh my goodness, give that to me. It's a vaccine. It must solve all my problems. It's weird, man. It's strange. You just put that word vax on anything. And next thing you know, it's kind of like put that word organic on anything, or put that word green energy on anything. People are like, oh, it's the best thing ever. Oh, it's crazy, man. Oh, you saw that, Nancy? That art? Is that crazy, man? Oh, yeah. All right. All right. So let's go to what was it? Oh, yeah. So lots of questions on inflation, because I did a video on that. I want to, and I get lots of questions on inflation. And frankly, I'm just not at all convinced that mass inflation is coming. All right, so this is a fantastic website. This is probably my favorite inflation website ever. In 2013dollars.com. I'll put a link here in the show notes for you all to get it on your own. Yeah, right on, Doug. Absolutely, high interest and high inflation. Oops, I've heard high interest and high inflation. I don't get it, man. Because it's actually there's something called the Phillips curve, which is insanely stupid. I don't know why anyone uses it anymore. The point, but it's nuts. And I don't want to get into a basic economic tutorial right here, because it just bores me, frankly. It's just so freaking stupid. It's economists who have physics envy. They're not a hard science, and they want desperately to have it be a hard science. So what they do is they come up with these fake charts and these graphs and these econometrics numbers to prove how hard of a science they are. It's kind of like my issue with when people say, "Oh, there's academic study on financial or investment management, the capital asset pricing model, the dividend, dividend growth." All these things are stupid. Now, it doesn't mean you should follow some of them, but the idea there's some academic basis on this is just freaking stupid, man. I hate it. I'm sitting there thinking there's no academics on people's irrational behavior. It's not. It just doesn't make sense. And because it's irrational for some freaking pointy head guy at Harvard doesn't make it not rational for you. It's crazy. So a pointy head guy at Harvard said, I'm doing a single premium annuity. Okay. And he says it's not rational for you not to do that if you're trying to maximize your income. You say, sure it is. Sure it is. I don't want to tie up all my money in some freaking insurance company. In terms of your stupid economic model, it might not be. But in terms of me, the way I see the world, it is. Kind of going back to the whole IQ test thing. Everyone's like, an IQ test. Well, what's the IQ testing? It's testing on your ability to take a test. All right. So the test makers who want to show they have high IQ created this IQ test to test your ability to take a test, so they can also say how smart you are. Now, there might be legitimacy to it. Doesn't mean if you don't get a high IQ, you're not that bright. It just doesn't mean that. Or you can't function in society. It's silly. Man, this whole point about this, you're sitting there thinking, oh, well, the academics say high inflation means to high interest rates, or what they said. They say high inflation leads to high interest rates. Why did they say that? Because they think this Paul Volcker in 1982 killed inflation with high interest rates because we had high inflation. So high inflation leads to high interest rates. Well, that doesn't make any sense. How did we get to high inflation? All right, so high inflation are synonymous with high interest rates. How did we get to high inflation? Where'd it come from? Well, massive amount of printing. Well, we've been having that for years. Hasn't happened. So it's not the printing press being freaking turned on. Well, what was it? Nixon get off the gold? Yeah, maybe. I mean, that could be. Vietnam, LBJ, crazy amounts of government spending, maybe. The OPEC, maybe. All that stuff is absolutely high regulate. I'm telling you right now, inflation is because of scarcity. I'm telling you. Remember that. Inflation is because of scarcity. That's what it is. What makes things scarce is the government coming down like a hammer on your ability to produce. I'm just telling you. Why do you think FDR told the farmers to plow their fields? Because they needed to increase the price of farm products back in the Great Depression because they weren't getting paid enough. They needed to increase the price of farm products. Thus, they created scarcity. It wasn't the printing press. It was scarcity. This is where I think a lot of libertarians and the conservative economists don't understand. They think it's the printing press. That's not true. It's scarcity. What causes scarcity? Things like price and wage controls. Nixon, freaking in 1970s, price and wage controls. And then you have regulation across the board. And again, Carter, to his credit, deregulated things. And so everyone wants to think it's Carter is the great malaise. It was Nixon and Ford, a little bit of Carter, I grant you, but certainly not Carter as bad as Nixon and Ford. No way, no how. I'm just telling you right now. Carter and even Ted Kennedy were the beginning of the Great Awakening of a deregulation on trucking, on stocks, various things like that, flying, which was huge, huge. And that led into Reagan. So inflation doesn't cause high interest rates any more than high interest rates cause inflation. It's nuts, man. And yet economists will say, oh, my pointy head says this. Crazy. All right, so let's revisit this here. I thought this was interesting because I want to show you guys something. So the printing press, I mean, this is, if we can even go back, this website is freaking awesome. In 2013 dollars, if you're like me and you're just a data geek, you'll be on here for all time. Anyway, so you can see this at the end of World War I right here. Wars always lead to inflation. At the end of World War II, wars always lead to inflation. Wars are freaking insane. The first Biden said America's back. Yeah, by getting the bomb machines going, man. That's what he did, a freaking scumbag. It's just, I find it interesting. All the liberals who, we hate war. Yeah, apparently they don't hate war when it's a Democrat doing it. The one thing about Trump, love him or hate him, is that there's no wars under the Trumpster. And that's good. Growth is better when there's no wars. You don't get growth in wars. Biden is part of the war machine. Kamala Harris is part of the prosecutorial machine. As such, more wars and more jail time for people. It's just all there is to it. Certainly not freedom. Just nuts. Anyway, you can see the Reds deflation, as you can see here. And we got a little bit of deflation in 2009. Probably get a little bit in 2000. They're already saying a 1.23 in 2020. I don't know that to be true. Has that come out? I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure that's been finalized yet. If that's true, my friends, that's great for the AWI, the average wage index. If you're turning 60 last year, this is good news. If we have a CPI of 1.23 for 2020, that's good news. If you're worried about your Social Security being reduced because average wage index, that's good. GDP in fourth quarter was 4%. I think it was a 4.4. Anyway, it was 4 to 4.4%. So we got hit in Q1 2020, got destroyed in Q2 2020, came back strong in Q3 2020, and we finished the year off positive at 4 or 4.4. I think it was 4 actually, which was good. And so the point being is that even when and this was my man Devin Carroll. Well, I love Devin Carroll. He was on the show the other day, but he quoted the chief actuary of Social Security saying, "Oh, we're going to lose, I think it was like 9.1% a year to Social Security." But that quote was at the beginning of July. It wasn't at the more recent times. It wasn't. So that using a beginning of July quote to insinuate there's going to be a big Social Security reduction, I don't like that. That's old news, man. And especially when we knew that Q3, that chief actuary of Social Security had no clue what Q3 was going to look like. None. And Q3 is booming. And then Q4 was good for sure. So if this is even remotely true, if we're in the black for 2020, that's good news, man. Anyway, so what we'll see here, if we look back, our average is 3.8% a year inflation going back to 1913. What if we go back to 1970, when your old buddy Josh was born? So in the course of my life, we've averaged inflation of 3.81, 1970. What if we take 1970 out, though, and we just go back to the course of you younger whippersnappers? Notice it's 2.86. Interesting. And what we're going to see, well, if we go back to 1990, all right? So watch what happens here. It goes down to 2.26. Interesting. Well, if we go to 2000, let's check this out. And then we got 2.01. Interesting. So what if we go to the boom boom years of the teens, the 2010s? What is it? 1.67. Interesting. So we've gone down steadily each and every decade since your old buddy Josh was alive. Each and every decade, the inflation rate has gone down. Has the government spending gone down? No. Has the stock market gone down? Nope. Is the stock market hedged against inflation? Maybe not. There's absolutely no positive correlation between inflation and stocks. The only correlation you can make is inflation happens every year, essentially, and stocks happen to go up more than they go down. So you can make that correlation between inflation and stocks, but that's a silly correlation to make. So anyway, at the end of the day, what we find here, because then you'd have to say deflation, because we can look back from 1930. Let's look at 1926 to 1937, I think, 1937, and let's see what inflation did there. Inflation was down. We had deflation down 1.87% a year from 1926 to 1930. Did stocks go up or go down? Well, they went down. So that proved that deflation is negative for stocks and inflation is positive for stocks, right? No. In the 1871 to 1910, there was deflation across the board and stocks did great. So there's no correlation between inflation or deflation. 1966 to 1982, there was pretty big inflation. Stocks did poorly. The real return of stocks in those times was negative. So stop this idea that stocks are somehow a hedge against inflation. There's no evidence that says if this happens, that happens. You can't make that correlation. You just can't. You can make a correlation that inflation destroys bonds. That's a simple correlation to make for sure. So just keep that in mind. But stocks are not necessarily a hedge against inflation, not by any stretch. But anyway, but deflation is not a hedge against inflation, or deflation. The stocks aren't a hedge or against deflation either. And deflation doesn't mean we have low stock performance, as we can see by the 2000s. Look, man, 2010 to 2020. Right now, the markets did freaking incredibly well, and yet the inflation is only 1.67. But that's not all. But let's take a look. So let's go to full list of CPI categories, shall we? I love this place, this right here. I just want to show we're going to go to all items, and we just did that. So that's what we just did, all items. So let's go back. Let's go all items less medical care, because medical care is a big one for sure. And medical care has averaged 3.43% a year. And it's not that much over inflation from 1957 to 2021. So not significantly. Now, medical care has been going up the last few years relative to regular inflation. So we go to 2000 to 2021, and medical care has been going up. We've averaged 1.91% per year. All items less, that's all items, was that less medical care? I'm sorry, that's all items less medical care, excuse me. So we want to go to medical care. So all items less medical care is even less. Medical care has been the one thing that has gone up pretty significantly. If we go down to, I don't think it's its own, I want to show you a couple things though. Right there, medical care. There we go. So medical care, it is. It's 4.68 since 1935. 4.68 right there, that major time inflation in the 70s and going into the, basically it's about 1990. But medical care from let's go to 2000 to 2021 has averaged 3.36. Just like I said, medical care, not a significant increase by any stretch. Now, could it be? Sure. But to sit there and say the cost of medical care is going to kill us, well, again, where's the evidence for that? I mean, if you look at the overall medical care numbers, It's just not that much higher than inflation. About double the rate of inflation, I grant you, about double the rate of inflation, but it's not going to break the bank by any stretch. I mean, look at that. It's a declining increase. You can attribute that to many, many different things, but we can play this game till we're blue in the face. Let's just look at the numbers. So I want to show you another thing. Let's go to electricity. So the biggest ones that I think when I hit retirement, I'm thinking about food, which we'll go to here, and we're going to find food right there. All right. So watch the price of food. That's not much inflation. That's not much inflation. So in 2020, it was up quite a bit, 3.45. Well, that inherently makes sense because supply chains are jacked. But that's not much inflation. So food has averaged 3.11% a year since 1913. Well, what's the last 20 years done? All right, check this out. All right, so food has averaged 2.31. Basically a little bit more than regular inflation. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. That's not extraordinary, man. It's just not. Over the course of my life, food has averaged. Let's take a gander, shall we? Inflation on food has averaged 3.86, right in line with regular inflation. But then it's gone. But if you take away the 70s and just go to the 80s, when the inflation was kind of nipped in the bud, it's averaged about 2 to 3% a year. It's not extraordinarily high. It's not. All right, so there's food. So I'm worried about medical care. I'm worried about food. I'm not worried about alcohol. I'm worried about electricity. All right, so let's look at electricity. Right there, electricity. Oh, electricity is only average 1.45% a year. Remember this right here. Oh my goodness, peak oil. There's no more natural gas. Remember, my friends, under Carter, they thought we were running out of natural gas, and so we shifted to coal. I don't think many people know this. So under Carter, they shifted to coal because they thought we were running out of natural gas. FYI. On top of that, we already hit peak oil at that point. And so, and then you got OPEC. But still, we thought we were running out of natural gas. We went to coal. And the rest is history when we have George Mitchell, the good George Mitchell, not the bad George Mitchell from my state of Maine, the good one, the fracking guy. Then you can see the price of electricity, not energy. Electricity has dropped dramatically in the last, we'll say 1990 and on. And that it'll continue to do so. 1.98% a year on electricity because of George Mitchell and fracking. And so all these liberals and green, they're not going to win. It's impossible for them to win because there'll be revolution. Because if they go wind and solar, there won't be. There's just not enough. Is all there is to it. Actually, it turns out that Texas wasn't all that big on wind itself, as the federal government giving huge subsidies to wind companies. Just FYI, I was reading that by Alex Epstein, or somebody, I can't remember. Anyways, if you should watch Alex Epstein or Stein, I think it's Stein, Alex Epstein's YouTube channel. Let me find it. It's called, let's see, ImproveThePlanet.com. Yeah, here it is. ImproveThePlanet.com, if y'all can see that. And you should watch his channel because he interviews some of the most brightest minds in the energy and electricity things. And it's interesting. I thought Texas has sold their soul for rock and roll on wind. It was not true. The state was kind of, is that private companies on behalf of the federal government that advocated wind like crazy because they're getting money, man. Get money hand over fist. All right, so electricity, not that big of a deal. That doesn't bother me. All right, so we got electricity, we got food, we got healthcare. Not a big deal. Now, you can look at housing if you want. But again, if you're in a house, what's the big deal, man? I mean, are you going to be moving anytime soon? Let's look at overall energy. So this would be everything to heat your home, to transportation, to fly. Energy has averaged 3.59% per year since 1957. So let's go to 2000 and watch this right here. And again, 2.41. The price of energy is down. In fact, some years it's way down. Some years it's up. And here's where Bill O'Reilly and idiots like those guys, oh my goodness, the oil companies, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So then some years it's way down. I mean, it's very volatile, don't get me wrong, but the way you deal with energy prices is you have a wood stove, that's for sure. You know what I'm saying, to heat your house. You don't fly when the transportation costs are high. But electricity is pretty cheap because natural gas. But anyway, for basically the energy comes into transporting goods, transporting people, and sometimes heating your home, depending on what you're looking at. So anyway, it's very volatile, but you can see we've had many years where it gets knocked in the bud. And it's not because of economic growth. It's simply because of technology. And all the environmentalists say the technology is going to make it great for solar photovoltaic. No, the technology is going to make it great for wind. No, the only thing that technology breakthrough can do is for batteries. And if you think batteries is a panacea, you're right, because we've been talking for batteries for years. We still have the old-fashioned lead acid batteries from many, 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 many moons ago. And that's not going to change anytime soon. So unless they get some kind of revolution of batteries, it's not a freaking Tesla power wall, whatever the hell that's called. It's just come on. It's silly to think that that's going to solve your energy problems. It might solve a little bit of your electricity problems, I grant you, and that's cool. I'm all about that. But if you don't have a battery bank, it doesn't matter. So anyway, 2.41% is inflation on energy. All right, so that's not so bad. So I'm sitting there thinking, what else? All right, so I got food, I got electricity, I got energy, I got healthcare. Let's go to housing. Do they got housing on here? Let's go down to housing, household energy, housing right there. So let's take a gander at this. Housing has increased by 4.13% a year. Now that's going to be a little bit interesting because all San Jose, Portland, New York, all these things are going to be thrown in with Houston, with Atlanta, with Phoenix. So you got a lot of rent control places, a lot of quote smart growth places which limit building, and then you got a bunch of freestanding places like Atlanta, Phoenix, Houston, where they build, and Houston doesn't have any freaking zoning laws, which is pretty fantastic. So you're kind of throwing everything in there together, but even that 4.13, and let's just look for the last 20 years again, and we'll see how housing is 2.32. All right. And if you're not moving, who gives a butt? Who gives? I mean, it's just like, all right, you might move, you might not, but you don't move that many times. So once you're locked into housing, what's the big deal? All right. So we got that. And let's go to you say, well, I need some clothes, Josh. Well, check this out. Women's apparel since 1977 has inflated not at all. In fact, over the last basically 20 years or so, or that 25 years, there's been a look at that. I mean, and this is where relying on cheap slave labor that Nike does and things of that nature, women's apparel has actually averaged -1% since 1995. Look at that, man. That's nuts. -1%. So to buy your new fancy schmancy good time rock and roll clothes for women, the same thing for men too, by the way, is actually costs less now than it did 25 years ago. That's just because of we're buying stuff that's, the textiles, whatnot, aren't made in North Carolina anymore. They're made in freaking the Philippines at cheap, if not North Korean slave laborers. And look, I buy it too. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's look at airline fares, shall we? This will be interesting because, wait a second. What happened here? So airline fares averaged 3.75% a year going back to 1963. What if we start in 1982 and see what airline fares have done there for inflation? Oh, they've only averaged 2%. We had one big jump there in 1980, but I'm in 1982. What do you think caused that? Oh, deregulation. Interesting. All right, so deregulation led to inflation. No, that didn't. All right, so let's keep going. So we got, bacon. You can look at that. Bread. We can look at boys' apparel. I got 4 kids. Again, same kind of thing. Any kind of apparel has been in deflationary stage. Let's look at appliances. Oh, I need to get a new oven. You know what I'm saying? I need to get a new range. Appliances. Let's see. Oh, appliances have been deflating since 1997. Interesting. So appliances have not changed, even though they've added all kinds of electronics to it. Interesting. And they're more efficient now, too. Let's go to what do we want to do? Into appliances. Let's go to automobiles. That's auto equipment. Service clubs. Do we got automobiles in there? I can't remember. Maybe not. There's a couple other car and truck rentals. Don't want that. Care of invalids that only got 16 years experience. So I don't want that so much. Seems like let's look at coffee. Yeah, that's right. Oh, watch this. College has averaged 6.38% a year going back to 1977. The biggest waste of money ever. Now, if you go back, people are starting to get pissed off, as rightly so. So we see a declining in colleges, and it's only going to get better or worse depending on what side of the equation you are. We got too many kids in college, too many brainwashed fools, unfortunately, and I could not be happier to see college get its comeuppance, because it's a big joke, man. We all know this. It's just there's no reason the price of college should average twice that of the rate of inflation, other than it's the biggest reverse Robin Hood in the history of mankind, taking from poor, ignorant young people to give to wealthy, educated, freaking older folks through the corrupt system that college is. All right, we'll just do one more here. So we did. Look, man, at the end of the day, if you want to send your kid to college, be my guest, but you're not getting the value that you're putting into it. That's for damn sure. It seemed like I had one more. We did appliances. We did energy. I don't care about financial services. I did actually find this one interesting because this is my field. Financial services average 3.64% a year. Now, that's interesting. Now, they're throwing kind of all in the baby with the bathwater here, but I said, how about since 2000? And it hasn't really gone down as much as I would like to see. Now, I don't know what this is about. But anyway, I was like, why isn't financial services growing at the rate of inflation? Financial services should be cheaper significantly, simply because what has happened is we've had ETF fees, no commissions, lots of savings on financial services, but it doesn't seem to be reflected in the overall list, which is odd. All right, seems like one other one I wanted to look at, and then we'll hit some right capital because see, fish and seafood, frankfurters, fuel oil, gasoline. That's all. Household. We did households, instant coffee, jewelry. Legal services gone down. Major appliances. I talked about that. Meats. I like my meats. So let's take a look at what meats have done. And again, this is more going to be a supply and demand thing. See, my boys are out there. My doggies. 3.66 since 1935. We go to 1990. And you could, it's 2.47, roughly the rate of inflation. Now you could argue that we're not raising cows and chickens and pigs in a wholesome way like we used to. I get it, man. 100% get it. And if you want to buy those products that grass fed and stuff like that, you should 100%. I got no qualm with that, but it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, right now, the cost of meat isn't going through the roof either. So, the government's been spending like a drunken sailor, and yet the cost of these things are not going up. And we can look at Houston, Texas here, give an example. So the average inflation in Houston is 3.05. If we go back to 1970, over the course of my life, I think it's going to be probably roughly this. Yeah, 3.75. And it's just, so much stuff in here. All right. So that's fantastic. I love this website, and it's just so much stuff in here you can look at. It's just fun. You can look at dentists. You can look at eyeglasses, all kinds of other stuff, sweets, personal care products. Photo processing. Does photo process? Look at that. Oh my goodness. But electronics is the big one. I think that over prescription drugs, recreational rent to primary residence. Let me just go to electronics because this kind of cracks me up. Where was it? I'm not sure I can be able to find it. But anyway, it was in here someplace. Thanks, girl. Oh, thanks. There's Liam, everybody. Want to say hi to everybody?
Yo.
Hold on a second. Let me get. All right, Liam. So Liam has an investment account now at Charles Schwab. What are you going to invest in, Lee?
NASDAQ. Yep.
Right on, dude. NASDAQ.
Only stock thing I know.
So we just opened a custodial account for old Liam, and he's looking forward to investing. And it finally just showed up. It says probably a good time. All right, so yeah, TVs, man. That's what it was. TVs. So TVs are way down. It's crazy. All right, so let's go to Right Capital. If I might need to log back in. No, sweet. I don't. Cool. Again, appreciate y'all being here. That's my youngest right there, old Liam. And he's all right. I'll keep him. We're going to go to share screen. Now, what we're going to do here, I tell you guys, Right Capital, these guys are freaking awesome. I cannot stress this enough. They have changed so many things in here. It's insane. All right, and we're going to go into a somewhat of a deep dive here. We got old Tim and Kim again, and this is a lady who had emailed me a while back, and I told her I'd use her stuff. She gave a pretty good donation for the person that we gave money to for Christmas, and I said I'd be. And anyway, long story short, so I was much obliged. Anyway, but I'm neglecting to use both Tim and Kim in this sample have pensions, and I don't want to use them here. All right, I don't want to use them because in that case they're fine. I mean, it doesn't apply to a lot of people, and as such, it makes it somewhat of a wishful thinking for most. All right, now we're putting Kim first here today, so Kim and Tim, because we want to be we don't want to be gendered. What is it? We don't want to mansplain. We don't want to mansplain. So we're going to be gender neutral. All right. So we got Tim and Kim. We're going to go to profile. And I got to sneeze again. Corona. And she was, hold on. Corona. So they live in Virginia, all right, and they're thinking they might need to move to Tennessee to avoid some of the taxes. She's 56. Old Tim is 61 at the end of the year. By the way, people always a guy emailed me say, "Hey, seems like there's an error in the software." Remember, they're always using what you're going to be at the end of the calendar year, just kind of like the IRS 1040 does. What is your date of birth for your RMD tables? It's whatever you are at the end of the year as of 31 December. All right. So that's what, the Right Capital does as well for ages is what you're going to be at the end of that calendar year. All right. So basically we got net worth, just real quick and easy. We have investments. So they both have TSP. So Kim's TSP, she has it all in the C fund, which is the Vanguard. I got VTI, but the C fund is C. Is just the S&P 500. The C and the S fund is VTI if it's a TSP. In this case, it doesn't matter. All right, so I got Vanguard. Is all in Vanguard. You got 900,000 schmackes. The big old Tim there, and he's got all in the C fund as well. And I'm using SPY for the ticker. All right, so they got 1.3 million between them. They get a house in Virginia, it's paid for. All right, they got $4,000 a year in property taxes. It pays about $2,000 a year for annual maintenance and $2,000 a year for homeowners insurance. All right, so far so good. So their goal was to hang up their old boots, which they're going to do. They're going to spend $5,000 a year on liquid expenditures. All right, this is where you can tighten your belt, guys. You can say, hey, I need to tighten my belt because the markets are down, or I don't want to eat fillets. I'm going to eat ground beef. Or I'm going to eat government cheese, whatever it is. But this is the big one right here. This is discretionary. I wish I could change that right there, but I can't. And they got their healthcare costs. All right. So basically, I'm saying, this won't be true for them. But basically, I'm saying they're going on ACA at $1,000 a year each. All right. And then they're going to go on Medicare. Now, for these guys, because they got the federal employee health benefit, I'm telling you, man, this is where the federal employees, they better enjoy it while they can, because this can't go on, man. And again, this isn't to say federal employees are bad, or there's a lot of good conservative federal employees. So don't be freaking out there in my comments bashing federal employees. That's you can't do that. But with that said, the federal employee has it better than the average Joe out there today, and I don't really think that's debatable anymore. And those days can't keep going; they just can't. And but that doesn't mean they're bad people. Please, you gotta take away the group and remember the individual is. There's a guy who is working, who's trying to do a good job for his employer, and it just happens to be the federal government. Now he gets some nice benefits. I grant you that, but don't blame him, man. Don't. You just can't. It's the way the system's set up. The politicians scratch each other's back for the unions. All right. So anyway, we're doing $24,000 a year for ACA, Obamacare. Now this won't be applicable to them because they're not going to need that because they're on federal employee health benefit. All right. And sorry, I keep sniffling. I just got sneezes here. I always zero out long-term care costs because I don't buy that the vast majority of us are going to pay it. In fact, I know that's not true. And as such, If you're going to, what are you going to assume? You're going to assume it's going to cost you $100,000 a year. All right, well, that's fine. But why are you making that assumption? Well, the average, blah, blah, blah. It's just no. So we're zeroing this out unless there's a significant reason not to, which is fine. I mean, it's not my plan, it's yours, but I'm zeroing it out because that's the likelihood that you don't pay anything out of pocket. Now, in this case, Kim is younger than old Tim, so she'll wipe Tim's butt. She'll take care of him. When he's an invalid, but then she'll need nursing home. She'll sell the house and move into a facility. That is her long-term care, if that makes sense. All right. So then we got, that's it. So I don't have any other stuff here, just retirement expenses plus healthcare. All right. Then we got an income. We got Social Security. So she's going to get $3,100 a month at her full retirement age. At her full retirement age. Always remember, you put your PIA, the amount you'll get at your full retirement age here. You don't put it what you're going to get at 70. I can't tell you how many people screw that up. Don't do that. It's going to be whatever you're going to get at your full retirement age, in this case 67, goes here. And then you're going to tell the computer, hey, software, I'm going to take it at 70, and the software will change that for you, if that makes sense. All right, so now old Tim, he's going to get a little bit less of a benefit. I had him taken at 67. I actually want him to take it as full retirement age. So we'll put 67. I had him take it at 70, but I want him to take it at 67. And again, sorry for the sniffles. All right, that's good. So there should be no savings in here. Oh, yeah. For those of you guys new to the Right Capital, don't put your investments in savings. It's not very, it's kind of inconspicuous what to do here. But investments go under profile net worth investments. I was working with a guy today. He had all his stuff in savings, and it's no big deal to flip it out, but it doesn't go here. This says what you're saving on a monthly basis. Expenses, just want to go in here. That was good. All right, good. So, all right. So what we're going to do here, the first thing we're going to do is I had a question about rates of return here. Just remember, guys, stocks are 6.5%, bonds are 2%, and cash is 0.5 of 1%. With a 2% inflation. So someone had posted to me, another guy who uses Right Capital. Lose a comment, please. Someone watched my video and saying, lose a comment, please. What the hell is that? I don't know what that is or who's saying that. So I don't know who that is. I'm saying. All right. So anyway, so right here we got 100% is, 100% stocks. We got 6.5% rate of return right there, which is all stocks, 6.5. Standard deviation of 16.3, which is historically pretty volatile. All right, that makes sense. Someone just texted me. I don't know who this is. Anyway, and now if you're going to be all bonds, it's going to be 2.1%. I don't know. It's going to be 2.1. All right, I'm not sure what's going on here. 2.1% with a 4.6% standard deviation. Just remember that all bonds is 2.1, stocks are 6.5. All right, so I hope that makes sense. So anything in between is going to be between 2 and 6.5. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so let's keep going here now. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at tax allocation. All right, someone making stupid comments. Let me just see my comments here. Oh, gotcha. Right on. All right. Right. Oh, thanks, Eric. I gotta find this comment. How do I find it? There you go. I thought you were saying, Eric, I thought you were saying Doug B was saying something crazy. Yes, I was like, Doug B. Doug's a good guy. I thought I was like, what the hell's lose a comment? I said, Doug B saying crap stuff? No way. Doug B's a good guy. On occasion, we'll keep him. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Good stuff, man. Appreciate it, Eric. And Doug's like, well, we put somebody else's. Doug's like, at least put somebody else's comment on there. Oh, man, that's funny. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. I'm glad you all can joke around with your old buddy Josh. Yeah. Oh, man, that was good. All right, Eric, you're all right, man. I don't care what they say. All right, so anyway, back to the screen where y'all can see. Oh man, that's embarrassing. I'm blushing because we just waste all that time and you don't have any idea what I was talking about. Hopefully you still do. All right, so we got tax deferred assets. We want it over here or we want it over there. All right, we don't want it here. This is the issue, and so many people, my friends, get caught up in trying to make it over here. Ooh, I gotta share with you something. So many people say, I got to get over it here. I'm like, no, the point is to get it out of here. The point isn't so much to get it here. The point is to get it out of here. And that means if we got to live off this, that's fine. But we don't have to do Roth conversions. We just want to reduce this. All right, real quick. Someone has sent me, I will stop this for just a second. So one of y'all did some serious sleuthing for me. Yeah, Sniffy Josh. Man, that is funny. Oh, boy. Yep. Sniffy Josh, I don't want to say more. All right, so someone has sent me. There's a guy on YouTube. I'm not going to mention names, but I've had probably 5 or probably 10 people reach out to me about this guy who uses Right Capital, by the way. And he had this big thing on how you could take serious deductions and itemizations to do Roth conversions. And I'm not trying to Sniffy Pablo. Maybe I'm getting allergies to my pups. And I said, I don't know how he's doing it, man, but you can't just wake up one day and get these massive amounts of freaking deductions. All right, it just doesn't make sense. Anyway, so my man Terry spoke to him. He said, life settlement investments, buying insurance policies from someone who's going to cancel or walk away from, and they'll make money on buying life settlement investments. See, I don't know how that's legit. There's not an insured interest. You're supposed to have an insured interest in order to be part of the life insurance contracts. That's weird. And if I'm buying on Grandma Jones down the street, I don't have an insured interest, which means I'm more hoping she dies, which isn't good. All right. Land trust conservation reduces AGI. So you donate monies to a charity and the donation is valued at a great amount. Therefore, you get a larger deduction. The valuation is based on the numerous factors, possible minerals found on a property. You donate $100,000 and the land property is valued at 2 or 3 or 4 times your initial donation, and then take a tax deduction based off the projected future value. Yeah. The comment's gone, man. Why is Lily White Norton saying get rid of the comment? It's already gone. It's like a charitable remainder trust with land. All right, then he says bonus depreciation. You invest in business entity and then buy equipment, real estate, and then can take an accelerated depreciation on my taxes. But all right. You can't, if you're just a guy who just retired, from freaking Coca-Cola because you're sick of freaking Robin DeAngelo breathing down your neck about how bad you are because you're white. You're like, dude, I'm not going to invest in freaking enterprise zones or taking bonus depreciation and freaking land. Come on. Anyway. They're watching behind, but gotcha. Yeah, I don't want to say it sounds like a Madoff thing. I'm just, that's complex, dude. Trust me. Engineers know complexity is not good for functioning things. We want it simple. The more moving parts, the more something's likely to break down. And if it breaks down, and especially if it's, in a cereal or something like that together, it's going to be a linear effect on everything else. We don't want that. We want it simple. Simple is easy. Simple doesn't break. Keep it simple, stupid. All right, so let's go back to Right Capital. Again, sorry about Sniffy. I guess that's my Twilight Zone. No, what is it called? I was watching somebody who said Sniffy Joe wanted forever to be president. And he's like, he sold his soul to the devil to be president. And the devil has a very interesting sense of humor. And now the devil said, you're president, Sniffy Joe. And no one cares because they're like, dude, you don't even know. He doesn't even know who he is, if that makes sense. Like, so Sniffy Joe's president. He's like, finally I'm president, but who am I? And the devil has an interesting humor, I guess, is forgot what this Dante or something like that. I'm not sure what it was. Yeah, right on. Eric says he fixes appliance to keep your appliances simple. I'm going to delete that comment. All right, so yeah, that guy Saul is a big lib too, by the way. That's these people lost their minds. All right, which shouldn't shock anybody. All right, so let's go back to Right Capital. All right, here we go. And as I sniff, and I don't do cocaine. Man, I remember if I did cocaine, that cleared my sinuses out. It's weird. It just started happening. Maybe once Liam came in. I think Liam was causing some issues for old Josh. All right. So what we're going to do here, remember we had big standard deviation. So we're going to hit retirement. And then we're going to hit cash flows. So I don't even see this first. First thing I want to look at is cash flows. That's okay. So they got no income for the first 6 years, all right? No income. So remember we said Roth conversions. Well, they don't need to do Roth conversions because they don't have any other money except for the 401k, TSP. So they're pulling money out of these things right here. 106, 109, 112, 115, 109. See what I'm saying? Now, when old Tim jumps on Social Security, they'll have to pull less. But remember, we don't need to do Roth conversions if they're pulling the money out already. And that's where I tell a lot of people with pensions, military people, federal employees, the CEO who retired from AT&T, who's got like a $200,000 a month pension. I say, dude, you don't need to do Roth conversions because you're already at a 12% tax bracket, if that makes sense. And if you were to do Roth conversions here, it's going to put you into a 22%. Let me show you what I'm talking about. And this is what Right Capital just changed over. So here's the effective tax rate. You can see, I mean, that's not, they live in Virginia, so it's 9.4 to the feds, 3.6 to the state. If we go to the tax bracket, all right, they're at the, oh man, I'm going to sneeze again. What is, oh, man, all right. All right, so they're at the 15% right here, but they're in, you got to look at both these things. They're in, their effective tax rate is 9 point. Let's have them living in Tennessee. This is going to make sense. I want to show you guys something. Let's have them living in. They're going to move to Tennessee anyway, so let's just have them move in there. All right, because this is huge. And Right Capital just came. This is freaking awesome. All right, so there's their effective tax rate. All right, 8.6 to the feds. 9.5 to the feds. You can see that now it does start going up. That's when old Tim dies right there, but still 9.6. That's not their tax rate. That's their effective tax rate. That's not their marginal tax bracket. So here is the marginal tax bracket at 15. I hope that makes sense. So if they start converting, they're going to put them into the marginal tax bracket at 22. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is where it gets kind of dastardly. So let's go to profile. And we're going to go to income, and we'll just have Tim converting. Yeah, let's just have him converting, I'll say $50,000. All right. Check this out. And we're going to go back to tax. All right. So the right there. So the effective tax rate it changed a little bit, I grant you, but still under 15%, if that makes sense. But it's the marginal tax bracket that has jumped up from 12 to 22. That's the 60% increase. I don't think you should do that. I mean, if you're already pulling money out of your IRA to live on, or your 401k or TSP, if you start converting on top of that, all it does is put you into the 60% increase on that $50,000 conversions. This is why this right here is fantastic, because it shows you, hey, be careful before you start converting. I know you're in the 15% tax bracket, and I know you only got an effective tax rate of 9.5, but if you start converting, it's going to put you in the higher marginal rate. And the reason why that's important is because the next dollar of income that you have is taxed at the marginal rate. Your effective rate is behind you. That's no big deal. It's the next dollar. That's the marginal rate. You got to know these two things. It's hugely important to figure out. Anyway, so in this case, I'd say let's go back and zero this out. And income. So I want to show. Oh man, and they just changed something else here too on Right Capital. Oh man, it's freaking. whoever Mr. Right Capital is, if I went that direction, I'd marry him. It might be a chick. In that case, I'll marry her. If it's a dude, look, I'm willing to experiment to marry this guy because I just freaking love it, man. I'm not too proud. All right, let's. What were we doing? We're going to tax. No. Yeah, I want to go to tax 1040. All right, so 1040. So see right there, that's their AGI. So they can convert just a little bit to get to the top of the 12% tax bracket, but not much, which is why you've got to use this tax distributions. Tax distributions. See, you got to look at this right there. They're right there on the cusp of that 12% tax bracket. You see right there, they're already right there on the cusp. Now, if they were to convert, every dollar they convert now will be taxed at the next highest tax bracket. In this case, it's 22%, soon to be 25. That's not a good move. So if you're converting 50,000, it's going to be taxed at roughly a quarter. That's $12,500. That's just to the feds, never mind the state. You don't want to do that. Now they look at this. They've changed. They've added all these. I haven't looked at half these yet. They've added all the capital gains tax bracket. And so like right here, they're still in a 0% capital gains tax bracket, man. Look at that. It shows right there, still in the zero. Look at that, 0% tax bracket. Even tells you how much they get put in there. Ooh. And it says, look, the next tax bracket to be in the 15, you can have a lot of capital gains there. But look at that. Oh, my goodness. And always forget this proposed strategy. It means nothing. It says tax-adjusted ending portfolio using a pro rata withdrawal strategy. Don't do a pro rata. That's stupid. That means a third, a third, a third. A third from Roth, a third from traditional, a third from taxable. That doesn't make any sense. So this right here, don't get caught up in this. I wish they just put a big X on that. But as you can see, as long as they stay in the 12% tax bracket, and it's going to be tight, but if they had capital gains, it would be taxed at, they don't have much wiggle room, I grant you. But this will kind of show you how much wiggle room do you have to stay in the 12% tax bracket so your capital gains are taxed at zero. Oh, man. And we go to right here, Medicare premium tax. Oh, my goodness. All right, so let's do this. Let's just play around here for just a second. We're going to say, let's put them a little bit older. And I want to show you guys something. Let's put them at Medicare right now. So we're going to say she is 1955. And then we'll add their pensions. And old Tim is 1955. All right, so then let's add a pension as well. We're going to go to income. And I think they had like 80,000 a year in pensions between them. So we'll say Kim's pension. Remember, I've been doing this offer. This will be my 4th year coming up in March. So if you're not following, you just got to play with it. It takes time, but I'm telling you, it's worth every time you do. All right, and we'll just say general inflation. That was good. And we won't do a survivor benefit. Well, I guess that's fine. All right, so we'll just leave that there, and that starts now. Kim's pension. Okay, good. And then we'll put a pension for old Tim. All right, and Timmer. All right, Penison. I can get banned from YouTube. I just said Penison. Oh no, sorry, Susan Wiki. And we'll say Tim. Calendar year. That looks good. All right, all good. Again, sorry about the sniffles. They call me Sniffly Joe. All right, so let's take a look at pension now. So we're going to go back to tax. All right. Now let's go to distributions. All right. Ooh, look at that, my friends. Look at that. So right there is telling them as they go up the stream here. Look at that. Right there, their Medicare premiums go up. I mean, so basically right now, it's going to be, I hate that box, but they're at the normal Medicare premiums right here. All right, so their Medicare premiums they're not going above for IRMA. But then right there, 72, they start doing when RMDs come around. Look at that. Look at that. The MAGA, I should say, MAGA, is 271. So they have to add $180 a month because they have over 260. The next bracket is going to be 336, 337 right there. So now they're adding 289 a month. And here, when old Tim dies, oops, well, it's right there. You can't really see it. They're at 542. So she's paying an extra 397 a month. Tell me that's not nuts. That's straight up freaking evil. It's only gonna get worse. Only gonna get worse. Look at that, man. That's crazy. So that's pretty sweet. So now let's just assume this is the case now. So now we just go back to tax estimate. All right. Oops. Oh man, if this doesn't wet your willy, nothing will, man. I got nothing for you. You got no soul because this is awesome. So you can see here they're at the 28% tax bracket. And again, that's the tax bracket, 28%. And then the effective tax rate is probably 15 or something like that. 19, a little bit higher than I would have thought. Again, this is living in Tennessee. So they're like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Well, now what we're going to do, this, we can go to tax distributions. We're going to come here to ordinary income tax bracket. And what I want to do here is I want to take advantage of this right here. I want to put them in the, let's try it. We're going to put them in the 28% tax bracket. And let's see what that shakes out as. So 28% tax bracket. And then we can compare it to Medicare premium. And look at that. Well, that didn't do as much as I would have thought. Huh. Wonder why. So that didn't do as much as I would have thought, actually. I would have thought that would have been more. Interesting. Huh. I would have thought that would have been more. Why? Why did that not do that? Oh, because she was. No, let's take a look. Anyway, so let's do this. All right. Let's see what we got. So we're going to go to details. Yeah, it's telling us to convert 211, 219. It's telling us our tax deferred account balance is 0 by the time 73 rolls around. Oh, why they got so much taxes? Well, let's see what else is going on. That doesn't make sense. So hold on just a second. All that money's over by a Roth by that point. Oh, wait, hold on a second. That doesn't make sense. Details. Yeah, taxable, tax-free. That's the Roth. Why do they still got so much taxable income? So hold on just a second. Remember, I always got to go down here to, yeah, there it is, distribution proposal. Huh. Let's see what's going on here. Let's go to cash flows. Where is their tax payment? Plan distribution. That's the current plan. Let's go to, we got to go to proposed plan. Okay. Why do they still got 31,000 of income? Oh, from Social Security and the pension. Yeah. Forgot about that. Yeah. So Social Security and their pension, they shouldn't still be in IRMA. Huh. Does it have, all right, so let's look at expenses. Does it have them in IRMA? Go to healthcare. That's right. There's Kim. So we're going to have Kim surviving old Tim. Medicare Part B. All right. Yeah, they got some. Oh, right there. I see. It's IRMA when they're doing the Roth conversions. Ah, that's what's going on here. So they're okay. So you can see that hopefully. They got IRMA. It starts going down, and then they're off of IRMA once all this stuff is over to Roth. Okay, so that's a challenge. So again, that's something you got to think about too. It's like, all right, is it worth it paying, $3,000 and $4,000 a year more to do Roth conversions so I can avoid IRMA later? That's a tough one right there. I don't know. That's the challenge of having a pension plus Social Security. I don't know. And then I have a feeling. Let's see. That's Kim. So let me just go back to see when old Tim. Oh, we got Tim surviving Kim. Okay, gotcha. So, and then, yeah, here's Tim's IRMA. Look at that. Yep, there you go. Huh. So there's, look at that. So here's Tim right there. Irma, big time Irma. Look at that, dude. Holy smokes. And that's with everything in the Roth, too. And the reason for that, oh, man, that's freaking ugly. So they get hit with an Irma a little bit on the front end. They get hammered with Irma on the back. All right, so the reason that's happening, check this out, because they made a huge mistake here. We're going to go to total income flows. And what's going to happen here is they got $40,000 each of pension. But then when Kim dies, she's still going to leave Tim with half of her pension right there. So now Tim has half a pension plus Social Security. And that, as a single taxpayer, that's just not good. So you don't want to have a survivor benefit if a pension, both y'all have roughly the same pensions, most likely. So that's not good. So that doesn't look good at all. That's interesting. Let's see what kind of questions or thoughts you guys have. All right. Yeah, right on. Doug says when his results were high, he found it's because he had his pension set with a COLA. The real results were disappointing after that. Yeah, Harry, definitely. Yeah, it's fantastic, Nancy. It's awesome. Doug says my washer is a high efficiency, relatively new Maytag. I love the see-through lid. And Eric says they are but worth it, about $900 each. They are but so worth it, about $900 each, but you still get 20 years. Oh, that's nice. Our 15-year-old refrigerator replaced a 15-month-old junk Whirlpool, has a 10-year compressor warranty. Yeah, that's I tell you, man. And the fridges are Energy Star and stuff. Oh my goodness. Yeah, electronic filter died. All right, let's see here. All right. Kim says, Josh, if I have a lot of sneezing or a lot of blooms outside, I use allergy medicine. I usually don't get allergies. I just think I'm not. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Something happened, Kim. I'm not sure. Maybe I gotta stop sniffing the coke. But Kim says my appliances are 20 years old and still working. Dishwasher, good replace. There is only my husband and me. Yeah, man. My dishwasher is this guy. Actually, no, we have a nice dishwasher. Industry average, 5 to 7 years nowadays. My range has never worked well. I tell you, man, it actually ticks me off. I don't think I got a good range. We've been in this house now for 8 years. So Eric is a range. I mean, I'm not. Do you do range? Our ranges typically, 5 to 10 years. Our ranges usually longer. Oven, I guess. Oven, not the oven. And it takes forever to warm up, man. It drives me crazy. It takes forever. See, yeah, trees are blooming. Maybe it's allergies, right on. All right. COVID sneeze to me, right on. Need mask. All right. Yeah. All right. So, good stuff, guys. Wow, we have a 25-year-old GE refrigerator as a spare, runs great. That's fantastic. And Nancy says, my washer and dryer are 20 years old and still going strong. Right on, man. No blooming in Maine now. Yep, I won't be getting allergies there. All right, so shouldn't we configure right capital to show as close to zero in the net flows column instead of the large negative numbers? No, I don't think so. Because, let's go back to right capital. So the reason why we have net flows, let's get rid of their pensions again. I just want to show that for an example. So let's go back to profile, and we're going to go back to family, and let's just put these guys at 1965, and I'm going to have them living in 1960. And so what was I saying here? Oh, yeah. Then I want to get rid of their pensions. So let's get rid of their pensions. So basically, these guys have $1 million. All right, they're 55. They hate the crappier jobs. They know they got some expenses to pay. I want to show you guys a couple things first and foremost. I tell you, one of the best things you can do. So let's put them living in Virginia, where they are, and they're going to move to Tennessee. So let's look at retirement. And I don't want to make light of this right here. They got 60. Let's go back to here real quick. Just change this over real fast. All right. So they got a 75% probability of success. All right. Now that just means 75 out of 100, they have money left over when they die. The median amount is $693,000 in today's dollars. Inflated dollars is going to be like 1.7 or something like that, 1.3. So I like to use inflated dollars so people get a gauge of what it is in today. So it's $693,000 in as what they're leaving, downstream if they as a median. 50% of the time they have more, 50% of the time they have less. If we go to confidence, we'll see that median starts dropping until they hit Social Security. That's that blue vein right there. That's the median. And then it just flattens off, which is pretty good. I'm pretty comfortable with that. Now, you can see when they're 82 years old, this will be for Kim. Yeah, she's younger. She has a median of 693, a 25% probability she'll have less than $85,000, a 25% probability she'll have more than $1.6 million. And again, that's today's dollars. All right. So that was pretty good. And again, that assumes no belt tightening or anything. And they just keep going. 696, 7014, 693. So I mean, it's just flat, which is good. But remember, we have them very aggressive. What if we made this? Let's go back here. And what if we made this less? And I'm trying to shoot for a 75%. If I get 75%, I'm pretty comfortable. What if we made this less aggressive? We'll just say a growth as opposed to what we had there. Now, what's going to happen? Oh, it increases. So let's see if anyone here, the peanut gallery, knows why did that increase? Why did that increase? Anyone want to take a guess? So we went from all stocks, an aggressive portfolio averaging 6.5 to a growth, which is averaging, let's take a look. A growth would give us we went from 6.5 to 5.5. And yet our retirement numbers actually went from 75 to 81. Now we're leaving less. We're leaving 100, almost 200,000 less. But who wants to take a gander? Why look at my man Jim. That's 100% right. Less volatility, 100% right. So the less volatility simply means there's not as much right on. Yep, no, it's not as much standard fluctuation. She's not catching a dropping knife, if that makes sense, or he or she. So what's happening is there's less upside, I grant you, but there's a lot less volatility where she goes into retirement a couple of years, bam, 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 and she's doomed. So so that's 100% right. Absolutely. So that's one of the ways you reduce risk. All right, but part two, remember, let's take a look at cash flows. And we're going to go use my man Daniel Kuhlebert's little thing here, his bookmarklet, and they're going to pay $469,000 in total taxes. $469,000 in total taxes. All right, now this is without the pension, all that. Just remember that. And Daniel Kuhlbert, I think he's still here on this stream, and you just got to make sure you go to his YouTube channel at Daniel Kuhlbert, Kulibert, and you can look at how you get this bookmarklet, because yep, it does still work, Dan. I love it. So hey, Dan, link to your YouTube channel if you would, and I use it all the time. I love this bookmarklet. It's fantastic. So anyway, so the $469,000 in taxes. However, they're thinking about moving to Tennessee. All right, and if we go to Tennessee, what does that do? Let's go to retirement. That match has got to change a little bit, right? Because, yeah, look at that. Look at that. All because they paid less taxes. Isn't that nuts? If we go to cash flows, right, and we go to, even though they're only paying $70,000 less in taxes, that's $70,000 more that's growing at a compounded interest rate. that's growing for, they're going to be around for another 40 years. Nuts. That one thing can make a huge difference. That one thing. So a couple of things here, I'd say, look, I wouldn't mess with Roth conversions. You're not going to pay that much in tax as it is. I mean, just not. You're paying, 400. Let's go to cash flows. You're paying 460. What do we say? If you move to Tennessee, you're paying $412,000 of taxes over the course of 40 years. That's just not that big of a deal. If we just look at the tax, I wouldn't mess with Roth conversions at all. We'll go to, they're right at 15. Just be at 15 for the rest of your life. No big deal. But they're not paying 15. They're only paying 10. All right. That's a big deal. If they were to do Roth conversions, they'd be paying 15. All right. So let's go back to someone just asked, why wouldn't we want to do zero net flows? All right, because the point is they got to live somehow. They got to have something to live on, all right? And so they have no income coming in. So as long as they have no income coming in, there's always going to be zero net flows because they're saying you're taking it from your investments. So what you'll see here is you go to income inflows, zero, net flows, negative 100,000. Well, where's that 100,000 coming from? And it's coming from their 401k. And so that's what's happening here. So that's 100,670 is going to be their net flows. Now that includes taxes, by the way. So we get 92,000 as their total expenses. So they got to take money out to pay the expenses, but that means they're going to have to pay tax on that. Now, once Social Security kicks in, their net flows will be lessened. That's for sure. But just as an FYI, remember, guys, if this is positive cash flows here on net flows, if it's positive, it's just going back into your taxable account. It's just being reinvested into your taxable account. If that makes sense, right here. So you can see right here, maybe they got positive cash flows. Let's see, summary. All right. So here we go. So they do have some positive cash flows here. Their RMDs plus both of their Social Securities are more, 152,000 more than their total expenses are. So that's 27,794, and it's just going back. I think it's net cash flows. 27,794 right there. So that's just being added back into their taxable account, if that makes sense. And just a real quick thing, one way I do to make sure that my investments are tracking, I say, this is real back of the envelope stuff. I said, okay, so I started the year with 1.305 million. I made $71,000, 71 divided by 1.305, 408. So my rate of return is roughly 5.5%, which is exactly where it should be under the proposed plan. Under the current plan, it should be 6.5. Let's see. 84,000 is. So this, I always look at this real quick. Retirement, cash flows, invested asset, and then you can see the portfolio return, and that will show you what your overall portfolio is doing for you, if that makes sense, which I like quite a lot. At some point, I imagine Right Capital will actually break these down specific to investment accounts. So Roth, IRA, and non or post-tax account, which would be sweet, because that way you can say my Roth should be this, my IRA should be that, my post-tax account should be this, which is fantastic. It's all good stuff here, all good stuff. Lastly, let's look at stress tests. In this case, I mean, this is I look at this on occasion. If they get a 50% market crash in the first year, their goose is cooked because they're relying so much on I'll show you what I'm talking about. They're relying so much. Oh, actually, no, I want to rely. We're on, hold on income. 59% of their income is stable, but is it really stable? It's coming from portfolio, if that makes sense. So that's not really that stable. And so if they have a portfolio that drops, go stress test, a portfolio that drops 50% in the first year, they're done, which is why the barbell is such an important thing here. Taxes go up by 80%, not really that big of a deal. I mean, it'll hurt their portfolio, but their taxes aren't that high as it is. The two big ones right here for these guys is market crash and Social Security. If Social Security drops by 20%, that's gonna be tough, which is why it's not going to happen. I mean, it might happen for younger folks, but it's not happening for people close to Social Security. Healthcare costs are up by 60%. And you can play with all these. This is pretty fun. Just always make sure you click on this action items box there. All right. So lastly, I want to show you guys something. This is a reverse mortgage calculator. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you a credit line. They're going to say, look, we want to make sure that if we do get a 50% market decline, that we're not having to pull money out of the portfolio. It'd be kind of hard to model this. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to continue step 2 and kosher reverse mortgage calculator. And this is from mortgage or mtgprofessor.com. And we're not refinancing existing mortgage. We'll say born 01, or I guess 10, we'll say 1950. No, 1955. Yeah, there you go, 1955. And we'll say the property value is $500,000. We'll say their zip code is here in Georgia. All right. And then we'll say no mortgage balance. And we're going to say we're going to live in our house until we die. So for 40 plus years. All right. And we're going to say our first name is Joe and our last name is Schmo. And our phone number is 800-800-800. Because I don't want to put all that stuff in there. I don't want anyone to call me. We're going to say Joe Schmo at gmail.com. And let's just, we'll just copy and paste this. All right, there we go. Oops. All right. So we're going to go joeschmo at gmail.com. Let's see. We don't even need to say a spouse here. So let's continue to step 3. I want to show you guys. This is actually pretty cool site. I don't like having to put your stuff in there. It drives me crazy. And so what this says is it says, look, if you have a, where is the, right here. We'll just look at retire secure. All right. So we're going to look at what the HUD assumes a 4% appreciation. All right. So I want to show you something. On a $500,000 home, it's probably going to cost $18,000 at closing. That's going to be a $10,000 of the mortgage and premium insurance. Yeah. And then it's going to be another closing cost of what does this guy have here? Another closing cost, origination fee of 2.5%, and then other closing costs. And all said and done, it's going to cost about $18,000 to close this mortgage. And we're going to put the cost back into the note. We have $481,000 of equity, and our loan balance is $18,000. All right, we're assuming a 4% appreciation on our home, and projections are based on the initial mortgage of 2.07 plus a mortgage insurance premium, which is 2.5. All right, so basically what's happening here is the loan is growing by 2.57 each and every year, but our line of credit is growing by 4%. Look at that. Right? Is that 4%? Let's see. 251. Or is that just, wait, 251,955 plus, yeah, well, 251,955. It's growing at, no, it's growing at the rate of interest. It's growing at 2.57. So what's happening here is, oh, you guys can't see it? Oh, thanks, Eric. Geez Louise. Screwed that up. Sorry, guys. Yep. Sorry. Sniffy Joe's taking over Josh. I know, man. So I got Eric there to, all right. So what happened was I went to mortgageprofessor.com and I just entered all the information. I wonder if I just go back. Yeah. So I entered all the information here. Sorry about that. And I said, this is the problem with what I'm using this software. I only see me. I only see what I'm using. I don't see what you guys see, which is kind of frustrating, actually. I wonder if there's a way to do this so I can see it. Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, we'll come back. All right, so we got, I was born in 1955. I got a $500,000 home. I got my zip code is 305. I got 0 mortgage balance. I'm going to live there for the rest of my life. My name's Joe Schmo. That's my email. And I continue to step 3. So let me show you that screen. It's a 10-second delay. Yeah, you guys can see it now. All right, cool, good. That's what we want to see. Right on. All right, so let's stop this, and then we're going to show the other screen here. Oh man, this is the high quality production we expect. Exactly. All right, so here we are. Hopefully, y'all are seeing this. Let me just double check. Yes. All right. Sweet. Yep. This is I'm gonna keep this up there now. Oh man, a couple guys said McFly. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. McFly. That's one of my favorite movies, by the way. All right, so let's go back here. So let's go back to this. All right, so again, we got, let's just say we're going to have our house appreciate at 2%. All right, so we're going to hit this guy. It's calculating. We got initial mortgage interest rate of 2.07. All right, 2.07. And they got a mortgage premium of 0.5%. So the line of credit is growing by this plus this. Is growing by the 2.57. Yeah, 2.57. So our line of credit is a little bit more than half of our property value, $500,000. Our line of credit is half of that. Now it costs us $18,000 for the whole mortgage, all right? Because you got to get a $10,000 mortgage insurance premium on the fair market value of the house, not on the amount that you borrow your line. It's on the entirety of the home. And then you get about another $8,000 in closing costs. But we have a line of credit, 251. We have equity in the home, 481. So we have 481 as our equity plus 18,000, which equals our property value. All right, so now we have, let's see, we have 251,000. And the line of credit is growing each and every year, 258, 265, 272. So let's go 20 years out. So now that 18,000 I borrowed for the closing is now costing $30,000, but my mortgage, my property value is 742. My equity is 712. I'm looking down here, by the way, and my line of credit amount is 421. So think about it like this: what if the market just got killed, man? Why would I take it from a market that's down 22% when I get a $421,000 line of credit I can take? And I think credit line to 10 years. All right, so if we modified this line of credit to a 10-year payment, not a 10-year, but a 10-year, where you get a payment for the rest of your life, it'd give you right here. Yeah, it'd give you $3,000 a month, man. $3,000 a month. Now, I'm sure there's a fee in doing that. I don't know how much it is, but I bet it's not that much. Anyway, so what's happening here? So I get $3,000 a month. I wouldn't have to touch my portfolio at all. It's crazy. I don't know why people don't do this. Now, check this out. Maximum allowable mortgage interest rate. Now, it doesn't look as good here. All right, so it changes. So maximum amount. Now, the reason it doesn't look as good is because our loan balance is going to be paying whatever I think is, I'm not sure the maximum rate is. I think it's like 7.07 or something like that. So if they're always charging the max, this is going to grow. The debt is going to grow pretty big. All right. So you got to be careful there. The expected rate, and this is what you'd get on your line of credit, plus what the cost of the interest that you're going to have to will be paid back either when you sell your house or when you die. Anyway, the point being, I don't know why people don't look at reverse mortgages more. If you're going to stay in your house and you don't have a pension and you're kind of like, man, the market scares me, a reverse mortgage just makes sense to me. I'm just telling you right now. People, some guy said on my YouTube channel, ban them. We should ban them. They take advantage of elderly people. And I'm like, dude, I had to ban that guy. I was like, get out of here. I didn't ban him. I mean, it's like, what? I hate, what the hell, man? My house, my body, right? I should be able to do what the hell I want with it. The reverse mortgage doesn't put you out. It's the lack of paying property taxes, man. It's crazy. So let's just go back to this real quick. We're going to hit Chrome. We're going to hit reverse mortgage calculator. All right, right here. And we're going to go back. No, we're going to go here. All right, let's make sure you guys can see this. Yeah, all right, sweet. Yay. Yeah, there we go. All right, sweet. It's working. All right, so this says, oh, wait, hold on a second. I want to say I don't want a line of credit this time. I want a cash now. I want to cash now. How much will it give me in cash? Let's take a look here. All right. Let's see what it gives us. All right. So let's see where it takes us. Hopefully y'all can still see this. Yeah. All right. So here, let's pick on, I always go by the lower one, the second one. All right. So now let's bring back up that screen. Share. Hey, thanks, Jonah. Appreciate it. 50,000 people seeing this high speed program. Very professional. All right, so here they're going to give you 162,000 at closing. All right, so if you had a $500,000 house and you didn't owe anything, they give you 162,000 bucks. All right, so that's pretty good. So you get 162,000 bucks. Do whatever you want with it. Now you still have equity in your home. Now, the drawback here is that the loan balance is growing, the amount you'll owe at the indicated age. So if 20 years from now, that $162,000 is worth, you're going to have to pay back $443,000. But your house, in this case, is, well, let's hold on a sec. They got to assume that, let's put a 2% appreciation. Your house, in that case, in 20 years, all right, right here. So your house, you owe $443,000. All right, so that's a little bit more than twice what you borrowed. Your house is worth $742,000, so you got $299,000 of equity. That's just with a 2% appreciation. So your equity has actually gone down a little bit from when you first borrowed. Your equity was at $338,000, and now it's at $299,000. But you can see it's going to start going up again right on this stage. And I mean, now what's going to happen here is when you die in 40 years, you owe $734,000, but your house is assuming worth $1.1 million when you had a 2% appreciation. So what happens is once you die, your kids sell the house, they'll pay the bank first, and then they'll get the proceeds back. Now, again, you don't want to blow this on a new boat. You want to make sure, because that's money you'll never get back again unless you sell your house. So you just got to be careful. Got to be careful. All right, so let's take some questions. Hope that made sense. A lot going on there. Yeah, exactly. That's 100% right, Eric. You can essentially rent it from me. I don't own it. You don't own it, and as such, it's $150. I get you set up. I don't offer any guidance whatsoever. You're on your own to figure it out. I just that and if some people don't like it, that's fine. But it's completely up to you. But I don't have time to offer individual guidance for everybody. I just don't. But in Right Capital, I'm far from disappointed in them. I think they're doing great. All right. So let's see. We got some comments here. Yeah, I think that's right. Cute humor. Reverse mortgages are good ideas to avoid depleting retirement portfolios. I don't agree with the early Social Security net so much. That's for sure. I think Right Capital would be great to start using 10 years from retirement. Yeah, I completely agree. Maybe even early, even closer to retirement. I think there's a guy in here. He says like 30. You don't need Right Capital. I'm actually not under the weather. I literally just started sneezing when I came. Maybe I'm allergic to you guys because I just started sneezing when I got this live stream. It's crazy. All right. Yeah, right there. I don't think people need it until you get close to retirement. Exactly. We're putting in a 4-season room, and my builders say construction wood is crazy and specs. Yes, I heard, man. Yeah, we're already assuming tax rates only go back to pre-Trump rates. Could be a lot worse. Yep. My man Fury of Bongos has stumbled on my channel today. All right, cool, man. All right, so this is the stuff. Lowell says $38 sheet of plywood last year, 14. I mean, again, commodities are always volatile, but part B, that has no effect on me whatsoever. It doesn't. I'm already in my house. Now, if I need to get a new roof or something like that, yeah. But that's. I had a guy. Wait, you got to get new. Have you seen the price of timber? The price of new cars? I'm like, I'm not in the market for either of them. It just doesn't affect me. And most people aren't in the market for that stuff. Most people, at least the ones that are healthy retirement, they buy a house and they stay there for a long time. They buy a car and they drive it to 200,000 miles. That's the price of lumber and the price of cars. Just not an impact on the day-to-day living. It's just not. This guy says, yeah, I don't know. I mean, what would you rebalance to? Reducing expenses, 100% right, man. Yeah, there's Dan's website, so his YouTube channel. Definitely go to his YouTube channel for sure. All right. She should look at getting term life insurance instead of leaving survivor benefit. That way, if she does die, he gets tax-free money. That's right. That assumes that she qualifies. 100% right, Tim. Exactly right. You gotta make sure you qualify for sure. All right. So we got Michael. Thoughts on SPIA plus Social Security? I don't like SPIAs at this stage. I just don't, Michael. There's just not enough interest on them at all. I mean, I've always been a proponent of SPIAs. In this stage, no way, man. You can create your own SPIA essentially without giving up the money. It's just not worth it. Just not worth it for sure. I have read Wade Fowle. I've interviewed Wade about a year and a half ago on this channel. Big fan of Wade, as a matter of fact. I just don't think SPIAs, they don't give you enough bang for your buck. You're not making any money until about year 22 nowadays. So once you're in year, you're getting your money back until you're in year 22. That's an awful long time to make any kind of net gain from a SPIA. So there's not much value there. People make the argument, and Wade does, and others do, and I do too, of mortality credits, i.e. the people who die early subsidize the people who die later. And I completely agree with that, but you still you have no access to your money other than the SPIA payment for about 22 years. And that's when it starts turning a profit for you. That's too long. Nah, Jeremy, if you're in your 30s, I wouldn't mess with it. No way. No way. Eric says, always keep your old appliances going. Even put money into them. They will last. Right on. Oh, dude, I'm telling you, I cannot wait to get, gas. You get a gas stove and you get a freaking wood stove, man. I tell you what, that's what we all need to learn about: gas stoves and wood stoves. I'm telling you, man. You think Texas is an anomaly? I mean, it might be an anomaly for Texas, but where the way things are going, look, green energy is not going to get the job done. It's silly to argue it is. Now, could green energy give you some electricity in Texas? Yes. Could it give the whole freaking grid? No. It's silly. It's silly. Could a solar photovoltaic give you some electricity in Phoenix and San Diego? Yes. You should get that. I got no qualm with that. Is it going to provide the whole grid? No. It's stupid. I just sit there. I'm thinking, it's blatantly ignorant or it's ignorantly stupid. One of those two things. I just came up with that. You're not getting it. And that's not including heat in your home. And remember, electricity is just part of a subset of energy, right? I can't tell you how many people screw this up. You got energy, and then you got electricity. It's just it's a fraction of energy. And so the idea that you're going to heat your home with electricity, heat pumps I get. They're not going to do the job one time. It's like I said, I love the cops. Got no qualm with cops. But when seconds matter, cops are only minutes away. It's the same kind of thing when freaking the cold is knocking out the door and electricity doesn't work, you're SOL unless you have a secondary source of heat. Wood stove. I'm telling you, man. Joe says oven should last at least 20. Well, it works. It just seems to be very inefficient, and it drives me up the wall. Yeah, I don't know anything about the Schwab. I get this question a lot. I don't know anything about it, man. Sorry. I just I'm not sure about it. But let's take a gander. Oh, don't forget to follow me. Let's we're gonna look at the Schwab thing because I get this question. Let's just take a look at it real quick. If I can find my right here. All right. Don't forget to follow me on MeWe or go to MeWe and sign up. And there I am. Follow me on MeWe. All right. I'm on the follow the Patriot Constitution Party. All right. There you can see some of my groups I'm in. Let's see, groups. I am in the Survival Podcast group. I'm in for my man Josh Forsyth over Forsyth Farms in California. Walking to Freedom, Living Free in Tennessee. That's Nicole Sauce over there, Living Free in Tennessee. They don't post that much. My strawberry plants arrived 2 weeks ago. I arrived 2 weeks late. Okay, good. So anyway, this is me on MeWe. I post a lot on MeWe, as a matter of fact. Parlor is back up. It's just hard to get back in the groove, man. Hard to get back in the groove. All right, so let's look at the Schwab. We'll go to Market Watch. Market Watch. And let's go to Schwab SCHD. And don't forget, I have an account at Schwab. All right, let's take a look at SCHD, but we'll just look it up here for simplicity. I don't know the first thing about this other than lots of people ask about it. So it's got expense ratio of 6 basis points. That's pretty good. I'm assuming you guys can see this. Yes. All right, sweet. All right, so yielding 3.01. There you go. 16 billion assets. How do I get this thing out of here, man? I don't want that. There we go. All right. 43% turnover. So you definitely don't want this in a taxable account. That's for sure. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Holdings. Oops. Yeah, get out of there, man. I don't want that. Get out of there. Financials are the biggest. Exxon, Texas Instruments, 3M, Qualcomm, Altria. Oh, so definitely it's a value play. I got no problem with that. None whatsoever. Man, it looks good to me. I got no issue. None whatsoever, man. This is mine. This is my biggest holding by far, the Vanguard Value Index. And let's see what that's doing relative to Schwab SCHD. And remember, you want to reinvest your dividends, folks. Reinvest your dividends. And we're paying 2.45, 4 basis points, turnover 12%. Yeah, I mean, it's all good. Probably got a lot of the same holdings. If memory serves, it's going to have a lot of those same holdings. Let's take a gander. Let's gander on down, shall we? Johnson & Johnson, Bank of America, Intel, Comcast, Verizon, Pfizer, Walmart, probably Exxon. Yeah, probably. Coca-Cola. Screw you, Coca-Cola. Screw you. All right, so a lot of the same stuff there. So SCHD, VTV, it all looks good to me. I got no qualm with these, man. I frankly don't think it makes that much of a difference between the two. Coin toss. Well, I let Pablo Infinity run in 2024. Yeah, they'll do better than Nikki Haley. Trust me. I'm not voting for Nikki Haley, just FYI. Don't tell my wife, that makes her mad. But I'm not voting for Nikki Haley. So just FYI, if the Republicans bring somebody good, I'll rejoin them. But they keep going down the road of these idiots that we seem to have more and more of. And I was listening to Daryl Issa today in the Epic Times saying, hey, once you get the vaccine, you should be able to go back to normal life. And I was like, screw you, Daryl Issa. I don't want the vaccine. Screw you and your stupid vaccine crap. You got to go get a vaccine before you can go back to normal life. I still, for the love of me, man, the love of me. This isn't the Spanish flu. I simply don't get this. And the idea, I can't believe it. We're living in, and this crazy thing is the United States is still the freest country on earth, and we're freaking insane. I was talking to somebody the other day who goes to Latin America all the time. Yeah, he has a house in Colombia. His girlfriend's in Costa Rica. He's like, dude, you think it's bad here? You should go down there. I said, Colombia? I thought Colombia's a right-wing government. He goes, they are, but when it comes to this, nothing's going on. What the? For a disease, for a virus, 99.8% survival. Oh, but don't you know the long-term consequences? What the hell are the long-term consequences of the vaccine? I don't trust the government, except for the FDA with vaccines. It's friggin' insane. I literally, if you want to get a vaccine, I don't care. But I'm not getting it. And I'm certainly, anyone who says you need to get it or else you can't have a normal life, then kiss my big fat behind, which is getting bigger and fatter by the day because we're all sitting on our butts all day watching YouTube videos and Netflix. Friggin' crazy, man. I don't get the fear. Someone's posting, my man John from New York, I think he lives in Brooklyn or Queens. He says this, he does walk, he says, I don't walk with a mask. And he says, he says it's funny because everyone like jumps out, he's like jumps out of the way. I said, that's actually kind of funny. I said, you got to take a video, man. Like just walk down the street, like, whoa, whoa. Like, oh my goodness, this is nuts. And I was watching a thing up in Maine today, and they're outside on some, doing some sledding, all masked to the hilt. I mean, just all outside, catching that beautiful vitamin D or B, D, right? Yeah, vitamin D, all masked to the hilt outside. That is yeah, absolutely, man. Qualified dividends and long-term capital gains are every single time. It's not without exception better than ordinary income. 100%. Ordinary dividends, short-term capital gains, ordinary income. Remember, long-term capital gains and qualified dividends are always and everywhere better than those other two things, without question. What's my thoughts on Aquin? I have no idea what it is, man. Eric says ovens longer than 15 years. Really. Hey, we got London in the house. Freaking Boris Johnson can kiss my big fat behind too. Can't stand that guy. You can't trust an environmentalist, man. And the sad thing is they're just like liberals. They sold the word. Liberals aren't liberal in the sense that we recognize what a liberal is, the old classical liberal. Environmentalists aren't environmentalists. They're watermelons. They're green on the out. They think they are, but they're deep red on the in. Commies. Can't trust them. The minute Boris Johnson, the only reason I was hoping big time for Boris Johnson was for Brexit. But, man, I tell you, he was a big greenie. I just said you can't trust these guys. It's like any Republican who doesn't take the Second Amendment serious. I've been saying this for years, man. My number one issue is the Second Amendment. And there's no Republican who freaking modifies his perspective or negotiates on the Second Amendment is worth their dime, because that means they'll negotiate on everything else. And the same thing with environmentalism. If you start negotiating on carbon taxes, you're a clown. You're a clown. That's all. You're a clown. Just go watch Tom McDonald's new video, Clown World. That rapper Tom McDonald, love that guy, because you're a clown. You can't negotiate with these people because you'll never win. They always win, and you always give more and give more because there's always a new crisis. CO2 now, it was freaking ozone hole, acid rain in the 80s. Who knows what the hell will be in the future? I don't know. But it's something. And the minute you go down that road of environmentalism because you think it'll get you street cred with the rich people, you're freaking, you might. It won't matter, dude. It won't matter because they don't care about you, and you're never going to win. And if you're on the right, just remember that if you're thinking about voting Republican, and any Republican who said anything about the insurrection, that you can't vote for them because they're clowns. They're clown shows. The clown world can't, because it's fake, man. It's fake. That means they get their media from the media. They get their news from the mainstream media. Nikki Haley. Anyone who said anything about that in spite towards Donald Trump doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Not worth your vote. You should vote third party instead. I'm telling you right now. That's the first thing. It's like, what do you believe about the Second Amendment? I'd say it in a way, if I had a chance to ask Nikki Haley, hey, I'm worried about guns. There's too many on the streets. There's those black rifles are awful. They're kind of creepy looking. What do you think? And she goes, well, yeah, we should have common sense gun control. Yeah, you're gone. You're gone. Get out. Same thing with climate change. Hey, I'm kind of worried about CO2. It's, it does worry me about greenhouse gases and methane, the cow farts. That does kind of concern me. Yeah, I get it. No, we're done. Carbon tax. No, we're done. Yeah, so Texas Fort Bend says, how can I tell the software to draw the money from the IRA to pay the taxes and converting to the Roth? It does that automatically unless you have cash in an account to do that. and then it'll take it from the cash. All right. Why not drop the 401k before the RMDs are due to keep your taxes low? I don't annuitize. I just tell you, annuitize don't work here. Or why not? Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we would have done. I mean, definitely draw down your 401ks before the RMDs are low, for sure. For sure. All right, Slim Dog says he's going to buy X amount of VTI monthly for the next 10 years. Yeah, absolutely. You can't. That's the one drop. Those two drawbacks. I can't remember the second one. On Right Capital, it doesn't let you do that in a taxable account. It only lets you do it in a pre-tax account. I don't know why. So they say if you have positive cash flow, there, Slim Doggy Dog, it automatically puts it into a brokerage account for you, if that makes sense. It's kind of weird. I've emailed them a couple times on that, and they give me a reason that makes sense, but it's just like, yeah, practical, it doesn't work. So if you have $100,000 of income and only $80,000 is going out the door, you have $20,000 in net income. That money is being invested into a brokerage account. In this case, it would be VTI. All right. Let's see. I think we got some of these already here. Let's go to the very. Oh, I can't go to the beginning anymore. Oh man. All right. Yeah, exactly. We got no. It's that thing. We got no laws on the books now. That's what pissed me off. This guy. We need to ban freaking reverse mortgages. Anytime someone says ban something or we need a law, no, we got enough laws. If you can't get it done with the laws we got now, you just more laws aren't going to help. That's all there's to it. Greg says he's got just sold business, small 401k. Man, I wouldn't do anything at this stage, man. I tell you what, I wouldn't do anything. I mean, because it's just I still think it's a very rocky road, man. And I don't know when it's going to stop, but I'd be sitting tight. That's for sure. No reason to rush in the market now. Hey, thanks, Dougie B. Dougie B. Fresh. Yeah. Think about it. Bill Gates has been advocating population control for years and years and years and years. Is the same one who's advocating everyone get this vaccine. And I was talking to one of my kids the other day. Said, "Dad, you sound like a conspiracy theorist." I said, "Well, just common sense would say, here's Bill Gates. We have too many people in the world, and we got to stop too many people. That's why he's big on zero population growth and actually family planning. We all know what family planning is. But he's also the same guy who wants these vaccines. I mean, to save people? Really? Come on, man. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Do I see any place where Berkshire Hathaway in a portfolio? Yeah, absolutely, man. Buy freaking, buy a couple of shares there, Prairie Mark or Berkshire B. Just let that puppy roll. Absolutely. Yeah, and the nice thing about Berkshire, it doesn't pay any dividends. So that's a perfect account. Just let that sucker grow for posterity. Yeah, I don't need to take. Pablo's getting a little bit chunky now because I don't go on walks. We got a fantastic treadmill downstairs now, Eric, that my better half put together, and I helped, but she put together. But it works like a charm. It's freaking awesome. It's awesome. And so I don't need to go walks. And on top of that, I can go down there whenever I want. It's fantastic, man. And so somebody emailed me this regime they did. I started doing it, about a month and a half ago. He was like 20 minutes, and he was doing, 5 minutes just a sprint, 15 push-ups, 15 squats, just empty squats, not even a bar, just squatting. And I think he said 5 pull-ups. And then without a break, just do that for 20 minutes. I can't do that. It's too much. So I started doing 10-minute run, a mile. I run a mile, and then I do 15 push-ups on my knuckles, and I hold them, and then I do 15 squats and 6 pull-ups, and then I'll change it to 15 overhead presses with lightweight. I think it was it's getting a little bit heavier, which kind of can I think just 25s on each side, but I like it. I don't like doing no weight, and then the push-ups, and then the pull-ups. So the pull-ups and push-ups are all the time. No. The pull-ups and push-ups are all the time. Once every other day is squats, and again, this with no weights, literally nothing, not even an empty bar. and then every other day it's overhead presses. And I like that a lot, man. And then you run. It's a good workout. I tell you, and I usually get that done, 30, 45 minutes. And it's freaking feels, I sweat like a stuck pig, and it feels great. It's awesome. And, just got the freaking tunes blasting down there. And, man, it's a good time. Just about what's her name? Who shot the lady? Who you talking about, Jill? Did I miss something? Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, remember that cop didn't get killed by he did not get killed by a freaking fire extinguisher either. It's all fake. It's all fake. People in Cali drive. Yeah, but they're not, but there's money to be made on the pro swamp side. I mean, these guys know what they're doing. Yeah, Liz Cheney. Kinzinger is just auditioning for MSNBC slot. He's the next Joe Scarborough. Cheney, I don't know what's going on with her. Obviously, at some point in her history, Trump pissed her off. And that's the thing with Trump. I mean, he's been around for a long time. He's said a lot of things that make a lot of people angry, I guarantee. And there's a lot of people who hold grudges in D.C. And I guarantee Trump said something about Dick Cheney that pissed her off, Liz Cheney off, and now she's pissed, and going to hold it against them. The idea, I just find it fun. These guys are such scumbags. So the idea of being American first makes you a white supremacist. Look, man, that ship has sailed so long ago, Liz. No one cares. No one's threatened by being called white supremacist anymore or racist. It's sad when you do that intra-party. It's embarrassing. But what do you expect? I mean, these guys have no soul. The DC is their soul. And but it's like, how low do you have to stoop to say we're American first? American first would have let Hitler run all over Europe and stuff. It's just, the thing is freaking insane. It's just whatever. It bores me, and it should bore everybody too. You're like, oh God, this again? You're a Nazi because it's like, oh. That's okay. Whatever, lady. At the end of the day, though, she's at least she has a little bit more street cred to be never Trumper than Kinzinger, because that guy's just auditioning for a Joe Scarborough. I'm still not sold on Chrissy Noem, man. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I like her. I hell like better than Nikki Haley, but I'm not quite there yet. I want to see a little bit more before I throw in with her. People bike and run outside with masks. Yeah. But yeah, exactly. Right. Oh yeah, Toomey, the other guy sold his soul for rock and roll. We could see that the minute he started negotiating with the Manchin about Second Amendment restrictions. And remember, Toomey was the Americans for Prosperity, one right-wing think tank, and he came from the right, and he was going to challenge Specter. And the reason Specter went to the Democrat because he knew that Toomey was going to primary him and was going to win. That's why Specter went to the Democrats in 2009, 2010. I think it's 2009, because Toomey was coming at Specter hard from the right, and Specter had no base; it was gone. And Toomey was the Tea Party guy, man, and he was coming hard, and he was going to win. So anyway, long story short, Specter jumps, and Toomey wins the seat, and I think he retired, and Toomey won the seat anyway. And then he served 2 terms. He won again in 2016 on Trump's coattails because Trump took Pennsylvania, and no one was expecting that. And yet he turned around and stabbed him in the back, just like Mittens. These guys got no souls, man. What the hell? Yeah, Trump and I agree with that. That pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. The bump stop thing. I'm not gonna lie. That pissed me off. Yeah, so most dividends, basically any S&P 500 company is paying a qualified dividend. It just has some ramifications for tax more preferably. How they determine what is a qualified versus ordinary, I don't know. And you don't need to know. You just need to know what you're buying. Are they paying mostly qualified? Again, if it's a stock on the New York Stock Exchange or even NASDAQ, it's going to be a qualified dividends most likely. Yeah. So how do I like Wellesley and Wellington if I don't like bonds? I get that question a lot. There are two different Joshes. One's accumulation Josh, which is what I am. Can't stand bonds and accumulation. The other is retirement Josh. And I say I would, my personal preference, frankly, is to have 4 years of cash or the Ginnie Mae and then the rest in VTI. That's it. 4 years of cash or the Vanguard Ginnie Mae fund and the rest in VTI. You can create that similarly. That would be no different really than a Wellington fund, frankly, which is fine. So if you want to do Wellington, be known that I'm okay with that. The drawback about doing that with Wellington, though, frankly, is that you can't just go into Wellington and say, only sell me my bonds, leave the stocks alone. It doesn't work like that. And so that's where I have a problem with Wellington is it says it is all encompassing. So if you need $30,000 to live and the stock market is down 30%, you can't just tell Wellington to send me $30,000 from the fixed income side. It doesn't work like that. So my preference is, frankly, 4 years Ginnie Mae, rest in VTI, done and done. But some people like the simplicity of one fund, or they might be a little bit less aggressive than I. And so if that's the case, Wellington's great. You got 4 years cash and the Wellington. Essentially, that's a 3-bucket portfolio. You got 4 years cash, you got 35% fixed income, and the rest in stocks. And I like the 3-bucket portfolio, but that's a little bit more conservative than I'd frankly want to be. Wellesley, if you're about a year out or a year into retirement, if you're in like say a 2 to 3 year time frame of looking at retirement, it's going to be tough to beat Wellesley. I tell those people all the time. Reason being, because right now we don't care about accumulation. We got to protect. And given that you just retired, and given that all the crap that's going on in the world today, not forever, but today, there's way too much risk on the table to throw everything in a more aggressive portfolio if you don't need to. And again, remember, guys, when the game is won, stop playing. Just stop. I don't need to play anymore. I don't need to get upside. I need to get protection with some upside. But just Wellesley's perfect for that. 2008, Wellesley was down 10%. 2000 itself is up. 2002 is down, 4 or something like that. It's just a great fund. You're not going to make much money with so much bonds in there, but hey, it'll give you some. It'll give you a lot less downside risk too. So I'm a fan. But again, for me, I don't want it. Yeah, right. Exactly. I 100%. The Spanish flu went away without a vaccine. Shocking. Oh my goodness, a guy jumped out of his chair when he showed up at his cubicle. Oh, that's just sick. These people are sick. Yeah. I think a lot of people have, Dan. A lot of people had it before as a thing. Yeah. Georgia, liberal state, man. Trust me, don't I know it? Unless Herschel Walker runs, the swamp won't let that happen. I shouldn't say that because I like Doug Collins. Doug Collins will probably run in the primary, but I got through. I mean, look, I like Doug Collins. I voted for him in the primary against Loeffler, and he probably would have won. But the swamp is still deep, man. And Loeffler was the incumbent who Brian Kemp chose. That was nuts. I never understood it, dude. So let's say, can these people pull their heads out of their butts and realize what's going on? I just couldn't. Anyway, so Herschel Walker, I don't even care who he's running against. I'd vote for Herschel Walker in 2 seconds flat. Because he would win that seat back, and he's a good, solid, conservative guy who stood by Trump through thick and thin and stood by conservative principles through thick and thin. I'm a big fan of Herschel Walker. It happens to help that he's a Republican black guy, by the way. Big fan. The facts are the Republicans, we're getting more and more black support. I read someplace today that they went to see this. A black girl went to CPAC, a black lady went to CPAC, and she goes, man, there's more blacks here than I've ever seen, and she's been going for a while. So that's good. I mean, I think there's enough blacks interested in the non-Democratic Party that would be willing to come over with the right candidates, but not with crappy candidates. So that's all I gotta say. So, I'd love for a guy like Herschel Walker. We got Burgess Owens. And I'm not a big fan of Tim Scott, but I like Burgess Owens, like Herschel Walker. I'd love for them to be somewhat of a voice out there. We got this new guy out here, and Vernon Daniels, I think. He just switched from Democrats to Republican, and he might run too. So anyway, Yep, I'll be racist, but I'm throwing my hat in with a black guy who runs, which is why Kemp should have chosen. He should have chosen a black guy or black lady. I don't know what he was thinking of rich white girl. That was freaking nuts, man. That was like the stupidest thing he could have done. Oh my, Kemp. The weird thing was Brian Kemp ran as a Trumpster in the primary. I don't know what happened to that guy. And no, he does. He's not owned by the commies. Stop. But it was weird. And then I said, all right, Kemp, he's a Trumpster. He's not going to go the political, the easy win with a somewhat attractive yellow hair lady with lots of money who never been in politics before, whose husband's on the New York Stock Exchange, who owns the WNBA, who was given to Planned Parenthood. And sure enough, he did. It's like, what the hell? And I actually don't. I bet Kelly Loeffler is a nice lady. You know what I'm saying? I saw her speak a couple times. She seems like a nice person. But it's like, politics ain't about that. It's about winning. And the whole thing was crazy. And I was like, all right, I get it. You got to get a chick. I get that. But all of them, her. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. I mean, there was so many. Just so many conservative Christians who are black down here that he could have easily chosen. And he didn't do it. He got like the antithesis. It was nuts. Crazy. Yeah, Vernon Jones. That's right. Yep, exactly. Yeah, man. Herschel Walker. Yep, Herschel Walker. He moved to Georgia to vote for him. Absolutely. Herschel Walker said racism ended 130 years ago. Unless you're white, and then it comes after you now, as we're seeing by all these people with their woke-a-cola stuff. Kemp I don't even think he froze. Something happened because he didn't freeze against the COVID stuff. He was strong there, but he froze when it came to Loeffler, and he froze when it came to Kelly Loeffler. I don't know what happened. It's weird, man. Yeah, I think the Democrats are bit off way more than they can chew. I really do. And it's, the left, it's the Bolsheviks are going to eat the Mensheviks, man. That's all there is to it. It's going to be fun to watch. But with that said, that doesn't mean you sit back and just laugh. You sit back and you protect what you got, because while the Bolsheviks are going to eat the Mensheviks, ultimately they do come after the White Russian army, if that makes sense. And that's not white in skin color, it's the White Russians. And they'll come after you. So you got to make sure that you are well protected, you're well prepared. I just bought some more freaking freeze-dried food from Costco. It was on sale the other day. I said, let me pick some more up. My wife's like, do we have enough? I said, no, you never have enough food. You don't know how long the nuts are going to take over. We're going to become Venezuela. You don't know. I mean, it might not happen, but it could. No one knew Hugo Chavez took over. It'd become Venezuela. Venezuela is the wealthiest Latin American country. Hugo Chavez takes over. And look at it. It's like Cuba. It's crazy. All right. I think I get ready to get out of here, man. Yeah, but Rand Paul, he's just not, he doesn't have the personality. I'd like to see Rand Paul as Secretary of Health and Human Services, or something like that. I love Rand Paul. Love him. But he doesn't have he's not Ron Paul. Ron Paul gets people fired up. And Rand Paul I like Rand Paul. DeSantis right now is my guy. I'm not, was Kim saying something? Oh, sorry, Kim. I don't think so. He'll be 78. I don't know. I hope he does not. I like Trump. I think Trump did what we needed. I think Trump sometimes was his own worst enemy, frankly. And, Jill gets pissed when I say this. This whole thing last year happened under Trump's watch. It did. I just say, look, I get it. But it wasn't. It happened under his watch, man. For me, that's why I hope he doesn't run again, because this should not have happened. I don't know how else to say it. It should not have happened. And but with that said, I'm glad Trump was the guy we had. But again, it's not Trump they hate; it's us. That's what I think a lot of Republicans don't realize. They don't hate Trump; they hate us. Trump is just between us. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I sometimes I think Trump's his own worst enemy. It doesn't matter they're going to go after Trump. Well, they're going to go after Mittens. It doesn't matter. So anyone who comes up through this has got to realize the media will never be your friend. They're always going to call you a Nazi. but I think this last year was just it was disappointing. And look, I'm just disappointed, and as such, I'd like to see a change, if that makes sense. Now, if Trump wins, I'll certainly support him, but as Anomaly says, who does Anomaly and Hip Hop Channel, Trump was like the biggest peddler of vaccines the world has ever seen, and I actually kind of agree with that. That was kind of creepy, and it still is kind of creepy to me. And I just, I don't know. I don't like it. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, all right. Yeah, I think so. I think that's right. I think I answered Kim's. Yeah, boy got jumped. The guy's a friggin' big old wimp. He came up behind him while Rand Paul was mowing the lawn. Freaking. Did I get your question, Kim? 808 timestamp. Right. I'll get out of here. I'm getting tired. See you guys. Thanks again for being here, and I appreciate y'all being here. I think I got your question, Kim. I did. Right. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you.